Example. One example is worth 1,000 arguments. Example is not the main thing in life, but it is the only thing. If you would lift me, you must be on higher ground. Example is the school of mankind that they will learn in no other. Example is the school of mankind, and they will learn in no other. Noble examples stir us up to noble actions, and the very history of large and public souls inspires a man with generous thoughts. Men trust their eyes rather than their ears. The road by precept is long and tedious, by example short and effectual. People would rather be shown how valuable you are, not told. To set a lofty example is the richest bequest a man can leave behind. If you see a great master, you will always find that he has used what was good in his predecessors, and that it was this which made him great. Excellence. In character, in manner, in style, in all things, the supreme excellence is simplicity. Excellent things are rare. If a man has good corn or wood or boards or pigs to sell, or can make better chairs or knives, crucibles, or church organs than anybody else, you will find a broad, hard-beaten road to his house, though it may be in the woods. Excellence resides in quality, not in quantity. The best is always few and rare. Much lures value. There's no excellence uncoupled with difficulties. Excellence in any department can be attained only by the labor of a lifetime. It is not to be purchased at a lesser price. Listen. To excel is to live. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. Excellence is never granted to man, but as the reward of labor. Excess. The Greek adage, nothing to excess. Everything in excess is opposed to nature. Every excess has its effect, its aftermath, its hangover. Everything that exceeds the bounds of moderation has an unstable foundation. This is listen, this I consider to be a valuable principle. This I consider to be a valuable principle in life, not to do anything in excess. Rome was not conquered by the barbarians, but by its own excesses, which so weakened the constitution of the state that it fell easy prey to a stronger and more vital people. Over almost everything save our virtues, there might be written the condemnation too much. Excess kills more than the sword. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself overwise. Excuse. Don't make excuses, make good. 99% of the failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. It's mighty soothing to the ego to be able to alibi our favors. I've done it, you've done it, and it has seemed to help temporarily. But the alibis have proved costly in the long run because they have kept us from facing the truth about ourselves. They have kept us from going to work and correcting our mistakes, eliminating our weaknesses, developing our talents, and improving our character. The most useful thing I can do is pray. The most useless thing you can give is an excuse. Blame yourself as you would blame others. Excuse others as you would excuse yourself. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. The manly man is one who always finds excuses for others, but never for himself. Of all human inventions, the most needless is the excuse. Never suffer youth to be an excuse of inadequacy, nor age and fame to be an excuse for laziness. Executive. The executive's chief business is to organize, deputize, and supervise. It is my job to weld doers and thinkers. Today's executive must be much more skillful in making a profit. 10 years ago, we were in the midst of a record-breaking decade. The emphasis of the time was on growth, and profits also almost always resulted. Let me start that again. Today's executive must be much more skillful in making a profit. 10 years ago, we were in the midst of a record-breaking decade. The emphasis of the time was on growth, and profits almost always resulted. But today, profits do not automatically follow from sales and growth. Judgment is the ability to make correct decisions in advance of the event. An executive is the man who is called upon to make such decisions. He must be right at least 50% or 51% of the time to escape being a failure. If he is a good executive, he will probably be right perhaps 90% of the time. No executive is infallible to judgment. The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint enough to keep from meddling with them while they're doing it. Here are the 7 qualities necessary for executive achievement. Number 1, frustration tolerance. Number 2, encouragement of participation. Number 3, self-questioning. Number 4, living with competition. Number 5, mastering victory and defeat. Number 6, identification with a group or groups. Number 7, realistic goal setting. A ship to run a straight course can have but one pilot and one steering wheel. The same applies to the successful operation of a business. There cannot be a steering wheel at every seat in an organization. I want only 3 things: high morale, good earnings, and good public relations. If you achieve these, you don't have to bother to send me any other reports. Executives, why die before your time? An executive is an expensive piece of property, not forgetting his value as a human being. Yet he often dies too soon because his health has been undervalued or overlooked. Experience is still the greatest asset in any endeavor. The accepted retirement age of executives is already too low. Rather than lowering that age, a chief executive should have additional staff help. Executive ability consists in getting the right men in the right places and keeping them willfully or willingly at the top notch. The executive of the future will be rated by his ability to anticipate his problems rather than to meet them as they come. See? Exercise. The only way for a rich man to be healthy is by exercise and abstinence, to live as if he were poor. Warm your body by healthful exercise, not by cowering over a stove. Exercise is the chief source of improvement in our faculties. The chief desire of the human race is to attain happiness. True happiness is impossible without true health. The true health is impossible without exercise. A man must exercise or fast or take physical training or be sick. Our bodies are not as yet really adjusted to a sedentary form of life. Atrophy sets in if we fail to use our bodies. Failure to use the arms, for instance, will cause them to become lifeless. Running is a wonderful exercise. It charges up the whole system. Walking is splendid exercise. Never hurry. Take plenty of exercise. Always be cheerful and take all the sleep you need, and you may expect to be very well. You may expect to be very well.